Hi everyone, this is a free clearing on the subject of anger. So any place where you are holding old, residual, stuck, blocked anger, could be anger that you're holding from childhood, anger from other lives, ancestral lineage anger, or especially anger that maybe you took on from mother or father, that you're holding in your being at the cellular level. Maybe it wasn't safe for you to express your anger, that if you expressed your anger, you would be abandoned, you'd be shamed. So anything around that we're releasing today. So let's start with a little prayer of intention. We're just going to have you relax your body for a moment, close your eyes, take a breath. I'm going to do the same. So I would like to call upon and invoke or bring forth the very highest vibration of source energy, which is love, to step into this clearing. I'd like to ask that all of the beings who are working with us come forward with ease, that any negative or limiting themes, challenges, choices, or programs that need to be clear easily and effortlessly, that I remain neutral and clear. And so it is. So let's go ahead and connect my high self committee, everyone who's working with me, your high self committee, everyone that's working with you, my self listeners, high self, or both, nobody. So there are a lot of blocks to releasing this. There's a real fear coming up here about anger. So this is the first thing that we need to clear before we can go into the actual clearing. So let's look at this. Where are we starting? Let's go over here. Let's release guilt and helplessness and fear about expressing or releasing anger. So let's go ahead and ask that that's released for your being. All of the levels of your being, all the cells of your body, through all areas of life. We're just going to let that unwind for a moment. Okay. My self listeners, high self, or both, nobody. What else is blocking? Vows, contracts, oaths, agreements, or obligations to stifle, hold on to, limit, block the expression of anger. Where do we need to go to shift it? Let's clear panic around the idea of letting that go. 5. Let's clear anxiety as a negative motivation. So now my self listeners, high self, are both still nobody, so there's still a block. Yeah, how many blocks do we need to look at? I just need to research one more. Okay, so where is it? Let's clear panic. All the levels, all the layers, all the reasons to have panic on the subject of releasing anger. And so there's an association here with letting go of anger, releasing anger, and it being a harmful or destructive thing. That it means that if you release anger, someone's going to be victimized by that. And that comes from experiences where you either did it that way or you felt victimized by someone's anger. So is that where we're starting? They released it or they're victimized? So let's go ahead and shift that. Let's look at where anyone listening felt like the victim of someone's anger. It's an identification of abuse and appeasement, panic, negativity, alcoholism from a past life. Within a group consciousness setting, the program or energy is rejection. Rejection of self, rejection of your own feelings, your own needs, wants, and desires. I'm going to keep it stifled. I'm going to keep it down because I don't want to provoke anger. So is this enough information to clear it? Let's go ahead and release that now. Okay, now, my self listeners, high self, or both, now both. Are there any other blocks to receiving or benefiting from this session, the modality, or for me? So that's a really great example where you can see that sometimes there's a resistance or a block to actually looking at something and letting it go. If there's a perception at any level of your being that it's actually not safe to release something or heal something or go into a subject, it will be blocked. And so this is a really great reason why sometimes we don't heal. I know I need to release trauma, I know I need to release anger, I know I need to whatever. But if there's a perception that something else harmful or negative is going to happen, if you go into it, the subconscious will block the healing. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's actually do the clearing. So myself, listeners, high self, both. No one has a block to receiving or benefiting. How long for my prep, myself, listeners, prep, their high self. Let's apply the entire prep to work list. Everything that needs to be cleared for you, your high self, guides, guardian angels, so that you're all clear, harmonized, and aligned. Anybody have blocks to releasing anger? So let's clear any vows, contracts, oaths, agreements, or obligations that you're holding with your non-physical teams to hide any issues from you, to hide anger, to hide trauma, so that you're able to access what really needs to be healed. And what we're going to do right on the heels of that is let's release anything hidden, buried, or covered up, anything that your soul doesn't need to examine, anything that it doesn't want to examine, anything that can be cleared without research. So anything that we can go ahead and let go of now. This is just a whole bunch of things just automatically getting released for you quite quickly. So what I'm hearing to tell you is there are a lot of planetary changes right now that are creating some openings for releasing very old, stuck, blocked, limited energies. So it's sort of like, think of the plates of the earth shifting and it's liberating energy. And what we want to do is just take all of this energy that's being liberated from your being that you might not know what to do with. It could be causing some tiredness, some heaviness, lethargy, fatigue. It's sort of all the coming up. What do I do with it? Your conscious mind isn't able to process it. So we're going to come in and we're going to release it all. We're going to vacuum that right out of your being. And what do we need to clear or release for anyone's non-physical team? Let's let go of any programming of negativity, hardship, loneliness, and abuse. Okay, good. Anything else? Anyone else have any other blocks or limitations? So, what do we need to do to clear anger? Stuck, blocked, limited, old anger that is just ready to be released. So we're starting at the cellular level of your being first. What's being held at the cellular level of anyone's being? Disappointment, panic, guilt, anger, moodiness, energies related to inner turmoil, negativity. Can we clear it? Let's release this now. So I'm just going to have you take a nice deep breath, release it whenever you're ready. Just want to let all of that go. A lot of these other little energies that are coming up are tied to anger. So for example, guilt just came up. Guilt connected to anger. Lots of reasons here not to express anger, to stifle anger. So the first thing that we're going to look at are vows, contracts, oaths, agreements that you're holding on a soul level, on a subconscious level, to stifle, to block your anger. What is the root of that? Or I don't even need to know. We're just going to let it go. So let's let it go. Let's revoke, release, mark these complete, all of these vows, contracts, oaths, agreements, or obligations to stifle anger. Let's clear self-doubt, clear guilt. Let's clear anger. So to what degree does anyone listening believe that they are able to express their anger in a productive and clear way, in a way that creates understanding rather than upset. 0. Actually, most of you are afraid of your anger. You would rather wait until you get home, not even in your house or apartment, in your room, and release anger there. Yelling, throwing things around, throwing clothes across the room. What do we need to release about the fear of anger? Let's clear all hardship, guilt, health abuse, abuse of self, and overwhelm. So some of you are viewing anger as a lower energy. It's, I should be more evolved. I shouldn't be angry about that. I shouldn't express anger in that way. I should rise above it. I should be able to turn it around. But anger is important. It's telling you when something is off. And it's intense because it's triggering something. So it can tell you that there's an imbalance, there's an injustice, something's off, something's wrong. It can, the depth, the intensity of it can certainly tell you whether or not it's activating or triggering something in your past that feels similar. So where is there a resistance to want to resolve anger or heal it? There's a lot of shame around it. So let's look at where this shame comes from. We want to follow the breadcrumbs. So identification of moodiness from an overwhelm that comes from your present life already happened. This is in connection with mother, father, and for some of you with siblings who expressed their anger or their rage in an inappropriate way. What I'm hearing is the word gross. So it was anger, it was just bleh all over you, and it felt toxic, and it felt unhealthy and inappropriate. So it was a really immature expression of anger. So what we want to do is take your associations with that and release the judgment and the shame that you're holding on yourself when you have anger. Let's clear overwhelm. Just going to let that clear all of the levels, the layers of overwhelm in the face of anger. Let's clear abuse and energies of disappointment. Anything else about that? Anything else about anger? Fear, panic, anxiety, disgust, judgment of self? Yes. Infinites of levels of judgment of self on the subject of anger. If I'm angry, I should go away in a little cave, work it all out, come back as though nothing has happened, and flow with everything. Don't let anybody see that I'm angry. Let's clear all the suffering around that. Sometimes it's really great to be able to let someone know, hey, you said this, you did this. It just really made me angry. It feels like a violation of my boundaries. It hurt my feelings. It made me upset, and I felt really angry. And to be able to express that and give the other person the opportunity to get to know you at a deeper level. It's really what that is. It's an opportunity to educate someone or create a deeper intimacy with someone. It's not something that you need to be ashamed of. You know, their response to that will give you a lot of information about how you need to navigate next within that relationship. So let's clear all of the panic around expressing anger. So there are a lot of wounds here about expressing anger and being abandoned, being ignored. Where are we going to heal that first? Clear the hundreds of reasons, the thousands of reasons, and the infinites of reasons related to abandonment. And I'm going to release any of the obligations that you're holding on others. These are unconscious, energetic obligations You're holding on other people to abandon you when you're angry, to ignore you, to stay away from you. Clear overwhelm, clear panic, and clear guilt. So we're talking about feeling angry and being able to express it, explain what's happening. Not passive-aggressive anger, which is stomping around, sighing, rolling your eyes. Passive-aggressive, meaning I don't have the maturity yet to be able to express how I feel directly, so I'm going to do these little things that wave a white flag to show someone that I'm upset or I'm angry. I'm not going to communicate clearly. So that passive-aggressive energy is what we want to let go of. That's really the fear of asking for what you need, asking for what you want, to be able to communicate directly, waiting for someone to pick up the signs and rescue you in the moment. So let's clear confusion about the healthy expression of anger. How many blocks to the healthy expression of anger? Clear the hundreds of reasons and the tens of reasons. Or else is there a block to the healthy expression of anger? To what degree now can anyone listening express anger in a respectful way? Where's the belief that all expression of anger is a nightmare for everyone involved? No. Any other blocks or limitations around that? So we have the healthy, assertive expression, we have the passive-aggressive, and then the other end of the spectrum is we have aggressive expression. So where is there an energy here about aggression? Being aggressive, being domineering, being bullying. Let's clear hate of self, energies of panic, and energies of hardship. So this is if I'm not aggressive, if I'm not in somebody's face, if I'm not throwing a cup at their head, they're not going to listen to me, they're not going to hear me, they're going to take advantage of me. I have to be aggressive or else I won't be heard. So anything about that? No. Actually, most of you who are listening are the opposite end of the spectrum. Your tendency is not to be aggressive. It's to hide, to stifle, to be fearful. And so on that note, let's look at where you're holding a wound from being around aggressive or domineering, narcissistic, bullying energies, where you're associating the expression of anger with being aggressive and immature and obnoxious, cruel, steamrolling over everyone else. So let's look at that association. That is part of the fear of the healthy expression of anger. We have a fear program. First thing that's coming up, imprint of an energy of fear, a fear program from a past life. This is where you are connected to a group as a healer. So you're a healer for a group. You're also connected to some sort of a religious figure. It's not an authority figure, it's specifically a religious figure. There's a harm by a religious figure. So a religious figure in that lifetime is domineering, is full of rage. There's an energy of anger. As the healer, there's a physical death harm. So this is bringing us into experiences that you're holding, memories of having to deal with someone who was a bully, domineering, abusive, had power, and you were killed. So let's pull up all accumulation of shock, pain, trauma, discord from lifetimes of being hurt, harmed, or killed by someone who was aggressive, bullying, domineering, angry, the aggressive energy, where they were using anger in a very unhealthy and destructive way. So there are hundreds of thousands of lifetimes coming up. I don't even need to know the number. There are so many of you and so many lifetimes that you have a memory of. Remember, these may not be your lifetimes. They might not be your past lives. You may have been present. You may have seen this play out. So what we want to look at are the unresolved emotional energies that you're holding from the experience. They are lots of fear, energies related to terror, hardship, programs, imprints of murder, memories of being murdered, intolerance, helplessness, abuse, and energies of disappointment. It's interesting how disappointment keeps coming in there. Because of the intensity of that program, those experiences, there could be a real terror for you when people are angry, when there's real anger happening in a relationship, in a group, friendship, community. You could really go into terror. There's an association here with being killed because someone was angry. And so, is this enough information now to clear the lifetime, the program, and the energy? Let's release it. Yeah, let's release all of that. Let's release any belief that when there is anger, whether it's your anger, someone else's anger, that there's a possibility or a potential here for being hurt, harmed, or killed. Where else do I need to do it? I don't. We just needed to release that chunk of old programs, old memories. Let's just give everybody a little boost to integrate that. Any other fear of anger, any other belief that anger is aggression, it is bullying, it is being domineering, it is being manipulative, no. Any blocks for anyone listening to release anger in a healthy, productive way. And I want to know if there's anything else related to old residual anger that needs to be healed. Yes. So let's clear the loneliness around feeling angry or anger, abandonment, energies of negativity, and energies of slavery, feeling like you are a slave to abuse and overwhelm and terror. Negativity, clear it. Let's give everybody a boost. So we have your current relationships, ancestral lineage level, past life level, anything for anyone listening related to group consciousness anger, no. It's mostly the biggest, muckiest things there were really that old energy of having the memory of being killed because someone was in a rage, an authority figure was in a rage. So anything left around that, any other fear about anger, any blocks to letting go, releasing old anger. So what do we need to bring in? Now that we've cleared that, what are we downloading? Let's download the energy of receiving, fully receiving yourself, no matter where you are on the spectrum. Let's download peace and courage. Download freedom, freedom of expression, freedom to express how you feel. Download trust, being able to trust yourself and trust others, being able to be discerning about who is trustworthy. Let's download self-esteem, relaxation, responsibility, love of life, and laughter. That's great. Anything else? No, is there anything else we need to do? So let's go ahead and apply the mop-up list. I want to thank myself, listeners, high self, all of the beings working with us, bringing forth light, releasing any darkness, limitation, and fear. I'm just going to apply a power symbol, which is a sacred geometry symbol. Let's download compassion, supportiveness, tolerance, wisdom, faith, love, and friendliness, especially friendliness to yourself. And take a nice deep breath one more time. So let's just go ahead and close for today. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope that you feel lighter. I hope that you feel clearer and that you feel like you can really express your anger in a healthy and productive way, that you don't feel like you have to hide, you don't feel like you have to stifle things, that you don't feel so on edge that you'll be met with kind of a bullying or domineering energy, that you're able to feel clear about letting things go, and even the anger that you're holding in your own body, that it feels lighter, that you don't feel that heaviness. So let me know. I love to receive comments. I really appreciate everyone who's left comments and emailed me through my website about how these clearings are affecting you and how you feel lighter. And the best thing ever. Have a great rest of the week, and I'll be back next week with another free clearing. Bye for now.